Wageningen, Holanda.
Hein, can you tell me regular potato breeding?
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
Briefly, it's we call it breeding by accident. So you make a lot of crosses, flowering, make crosses with flowers. Then you put in large fields of seeds, potatoes. You grow them and then you start testing them. The process takes about 10 years. And after 10 years you end up with one potato. And then one potato you need to multiply in order to get to sell to the farmers. So you put the one in the field, and after a year you have 10. Put 10 in the fields. After a year you have 100. Put 100 in the field. After a year you have 1,000. So after 7 years you have sufficient seed potatoes to sell to the farmers. So it's a very long, elaborate process without much innovation.
And what are you doing here? What is your innovation?
So we changed that. So potato is the same family as tomato, and our background is tomato breeding. And if you come from a tomato, it takes about 2 years to make a new tomato variety. So instead of 10 years, you do 2 years. And if you end up after 2 years with a seed, a small tiny seed, and the tiny seeds you can multiply very quickly. You can make 10,000 copies in 6 months. So you can breed a whole new variety with additional traits, beneficial traits, disease resistance, better yield, better growing traits in 3 years. So you compare 17 years to 3 years.
Wow.
With a lot of added value. So it's really changing the potato world.
And look, what is this exactly? Can you explain me?
So basically what we do is what a smart bumblebee would do. A bumblebee flies to one flower and then flies to another, and in that process the bumblebee is fertilizing the plants. So it goes from a female plant to a male plant. The only thing we do is we are very targeted bumblebees, so we know exactly which male plant we want to cross with a specific female plant. It will help creating better new varieties for us, but it will also help saving the food, solving part of the food problem in the world.
What's the size of the problem, the food problems in the world currently, nowadays?
Well, I think there are already dying 30,000 people each day.
Every day?
Because they are hungry or not well fed. So that's a big problem. And the population is growing with about 100 million people a year. So we need a lot of land and we need a lot of fresh water to solve this problem. And we need this additional capacity to feed the people. And in order to feed, so we have to produce more on less land with less water. That's basically what it is. And that's what we are going to do here.
According to Bill Gates, we have to pay attention in those 3 areas: health, education, and agriculture for the next 30 years, right? Do you agree with him?
Yeah, I agree with him. Yes, and I think they go hand in hand, because if you eat well, then you are healthy, and if you're healthy, you can do decent education, and then you have the brains to breed the potatoes in a new, innovative way. So it goes in all directions. Yeah, I agree with him.
He's so smart guy, right? And look, what is this exactly? Can you explain me?
So basically what we do is what a smart bumblebee would do. A bumblebee flies to one flower and then flies to another, and in that process the bumblebee is fertilizing the plants. So it goes from a female plant to a male plant. The only thing we do is we are very targeted bumblebees, so we know exactly which male plant we want to cross with a specific female plant. And then if you bring the seeds from the pollen from the male plant and you bring it to the stamina of the female plant, then you get fruit set, and the fruits turn into berries, and the berries, they look like early tomatoes. So you can see.
That's why I told you from the family.
Yeah, it's the same
tomato
family. And if you wait a couple of weeks, then the fruit is you can open the fruit, and then you see these tiny little seeds, which also look very much like tomato seeds, only a little bit tinier. So that's the process what we do. So we make a cross between a very good male plant and a very good female plant. and then we harvest the seed because it's the kids we care about.
You know, what's the benefit of these seeds?
Well, you can imagine that if you grow an hectare of a potato field, you need about 3,000 kilos of seed potatoes.
Yeah.
And 3,000 kilo seed potatoes, it's heavy to transport, it's difficult to store. If you don't use it correctly, then it's going to deteriorate, it perishes while you store them. To sow the same hectare with seeds, you only need 30 grams of seeds. So instead of using big
3,000 tons?
Kilos, 3,000 kilos.
Kilos, yeah.
You use 30 grams of seeds. So you basically give it to DHL or FedEx to bring the seeds instead of big trucks. And of course the seeds, you can store them easily, they don't deteriorate, you can keep them for years. So it's a huge logistical advantage.
You don't use a transgenic process here, right? You use a hybrid process.
It's a hybrid process, and as I explained, it's just
What's the difference?
A transgenic, then you move genes from out of a species into a species. Let's say you want to cross a cucumber with a potato, that's transgenic because that's not a natural cross. The only thing we do is what a bumblebee would do, so fly from the potato flower to another potato flower. So it's just nature, only very targeted.
When was Solynta founded?
We founded the company in 2008. And then we did very initial trials because you start with one plant and then if it's successful you grow the thing. So the last this summer we moved to this. We found this greenhouse, and then we put the drip irrigation system in so that we can really make sure that each plant gets the light it needs and the feed it needs. And now since it's being so successful and we got initial funding, we are moving to the other part of the greenhouse so that we really can do what we need to do.
You are kind of a private company, right?
Kind of, yes, no, absolutely.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
private company.
Yeah.
But you have money from government, or you have...
Yeah, so we were very fortunate that there's an innovation loan facility in the Netherlands,
Wow.
which is specifically for this innovation kind of work, because no bank will lend money if you make a loss. So the innovation, we got of course angel investors. And my wife is one of the angels, of course. Some commercial contracts, so firms interested in creating improved varieties of potato who sponsor part of the research. And we got a grant from the European Union because they thought this was so very important innovation that they want to speed up the process, and that's the reason why we can expand the greenhouse and do some more trialing in the Phytophthora resistance. The disease which causes late blight. It's very hard to invent something on your own. So you need a lot of interaction. Mm-hmm. So we're working with a lot of companies who are all very good in a specific field and look through a kind of different glasses to the same problem we have with the potato. And everybody comes up with crazy and fantastic ideas.
A solução da Solynta surpreendeu, porém a nossa fome pela inovação ainda continua.